Have you ever wondered why certain men seem to leave an unforgettable mark on a woman, even years after the relationship is over? That's exactly what we're diving into today. Women never forget a man who does these 5 things. And I'm not talking about gifts, grand gestures, or sweet words. No, I'm talking about the kind of man whose presence lingers in her mind. Not because he chased her, but because he stood out in ways most men never do. Welcome back to the channel, where we break down the real dynamics of men, women, and relationships. Today's topic is not for the faint of heart, because what I'm about to share with you challenges a lot of the mainstream nonsense you've been told. If you're here looking for nice guy advice, this probably isn't the video for you. But if you want to understand how to become the kind of man that a woman cannot erase from her memory, stay with me. You see, most men are programmed to believe that making a woman happy means constant validation, endless attention, and sacrificing their own standards. But the truth is, women forget those men easily. They move on from them like they never existed. Why? Because women don't crave men who worship them. They crave men who challenge them, who impact them emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. The men who leave a permanent impression do things differently, and it's often the exact opposite of what most men are taught. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 specific things you can do that will make a woman remember you long after the relationship is over, whether she admits it or not. Let's get into it. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my exclusive online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course goes deeper, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. We just finished Section 5 in the course, and you won't find this information on videos on my channel. It's easy to access with a secure payment option. Visit stoicapeoplehlife.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. Number 1, he never chases her. One of the biggest mistakes men make is thinking that the more they pursue a woman, the more she'll want them. That's a lie society has sold for years. The truth is, chasing kills attraction. The more a man chases, the more predictable, desperate, and replaceable he looks in her eyes. Women are not drawn to men who put them on a pedestal. They are drawn to men who value themselves first. When a man chases, he signals that she is the prize, and he's the one hoping to be chosen. That automatically shifts the power dynamic. The woman holds control, and the man becomes just another option fighting for her attention. And when a man is seen as an option, he's easily forgotten. A man who never chases is not cold or indifferent. He simply allows attraction to flow naturally. He understands that his value isn't determined by her attention. If she's interested, she'll show it. If not, he's perfectly fine walking away without forcing anything. This approach creates mystery and scarcity, 2 powerful forces that work on a woman's emotions. When a man doesn't chase, it triggers her curiosity. She starts to wonder, why isn't he trying harder? Why does he seem so confident? This curiosity often turns into attraction because women instinctively desire what feels rare and difficult to attain. Take, for example, a man who meets a woman at a social event. They have a great conversation. There's chemistry. But instead of bombarding her with texts or trying to schedule a dozen dates, he gives her space. He lets her initiate contact. He focuses on his own life, his goals, and his mission. Over time, she starts reaching out more, trying to secure his attention because she senses his confidence and independence. That's the power of not chasing. Women don't forget men who don't make them feel like they're being hunted. They remember the ones who made them work for it. Number 2, he walks away. Without fear. Most men lose all their power in relationships because they're afraid to walk away. They think if they don't constantly hold on, they'll lose her forever. That fear of loss makes them weak, and women can feel it instantly. But here's the truth. The ability to walk away at any moment is one of the most attractive and powerful traits a man can have. Walking away doesn't mean being cold, rude, or disrespectful. It means knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to stay in situations that no longer serve you. It means you're not emotionally dependent on her presence. If she starts playing games, creating drama, or disrespecting your standards, You're willing to step back without begging, negotiating, or pleading. Women respect men who don't cling. They respect men who aren't afraid to lose them. Why? Because it shows true confidence. It shows emotional strength. Asterisk, a man who can walk away sends a loud message: I choose to be here, but I don't need to be here. That's powerful. When you have this mindset, everything changes. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop trying to constantly fix things that aren't your fault. You no longer compromise your values just to keep the relationship going. Asterisk, women sense this. They know they can't control you with emotional games because you won't engage in the drama. You're above it. Asterisk, most guys get scared the moment they sense distance from a woman. They panic, double text, apologize for things they didn't do wrong, and start overcompensating. That behavior does the exact opposite of what they want. It pushes her away even more. Asterisk, but when a man stands firm and lets go without fear, something different happens. The woman starts to feel the weight of potentially losing him. That's when she starts rethinking her actions. Women never forget men who were strong enough to walk away. Those are the men who remain in the back of their minds because they never got the satisfaction of seeing him desperate. Asterisk, number 3, he controls his emotions. Asterisk, one of the quickest ways a man loses a woman's respect is by being emotionally unstable. Many men believe that constantly expressing every little feeling, reacting to every situation, or getting upset easily will show that they care or are invested. In reality, it often signals weakness. Asterisk, women are deeply wired to seek emotional stability. In a man, if you can't control your emotions, you're seen as unpredictable, and unpredictability kills attraction when it comes from weakness. A man who controls his emotions remains steady, no matter what's happening around him. He doesn't allow a woman's mood swings, tests, or behavior to dictate how he feels or acts. Asterisk, this doesn't mean being cold or emotionless. It means being grounded. He can feel things, but his feelings don't control his behavior. That's true strength. Asterisk, women are naturally emotional creatures. They experience a wide range of emotions daily. What they subconsciously want in a man is balance. They want someone who can steady the ship when things get rough. When she's upset, frustrated, or trying to push his buttons, the man who remains calm, composed, and unbothered becomes incredibly attractive. He becomes her emotional anchor. Asterisk, most guys fall into the trap of reacting emotionally when faced with challenges in a relationship. She ignores a text, and he panics. She brings up an argument, and he gets defensive. She seems distant, and he accuses or begs for attention. All of these reactions scream insecurity. Instead of drawing her closer, it drives her away because it shows that his emotions are controlled by her actions. Asterisk, a man who controls his emotions doesn't get easily jealous, doesn't act out of desperation, and doesn't break down when things don't go his way. He understands that his peace of mind is his responsibility. He knows that overreacting or losing his cool only puts him at a disadvantage. Asterisk, when you stay calm under pressure, women take notice. It shows you're different from most men who crumble when emotions run high. Even when she tries to test your patience, hoping to see how you'll react, your ability to stay composed earns her respect. And respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. Asterisk, women don't forget men who made them feel secure emotionally, not because he gave into her every mood, but because he remained solid while still being present. That combination of emotional control and strength leaves a lasting impression long after the relationship ends. Asterisk, number 4, he never seeks her approval. Asterisk, one of the biggest traps men fall into is seeking a woman's approval. They want her to like them so badly that they start adjusting their words, behavior, and even their beliefs just to get her validation. The problem is, the more approval you seek, the less respect you get. Asterisk, women aren't attracted to men who need constant reassurance. They're attracted to men who are already sure of themselves, with or without her validation. When you need her approval, you give her control. You're silently telling her, "I'm not sure I'm good enough unless you say so." That kind of insecurity is deeply unattractive. Asterisk, a man who doesn't seek approval operates from a place of inner confidence. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he wants. He doesn't change his opinions to avoid disagreement. He doesn't act differently just to please her. He stays authentic whether she likes it or not. Ironically, This honesty makes him far more attractive because it shows strength. Women test men all the time, often without even realizing it. They might question your choices, tease you, or challenge your decisions to see if you'll fold. Most men do. They start explaining themselves, justifying their actions, or changing their stance just to avoid conflict. But every time you give in, you lose a little more of her respect. A man who doesn't seek approval doesn't get thrown off by these tests. He doesn't feel the need to prove himself or explain every decision. He allows her to disagree without feeling threatened. That calm confidence tells her everything she needs to know, that he's not dependent on her opinion to validate his worth. When a man carries himself this way, it creates a different kind of dynamic. Instead of chasing her approval, she starts seeking his. She becomes more invested, more curious, and more eager to impress him because he isn't easily swayed or controlled by her reactions. Number 5, he makes her earn his attention. Attention is one of the most valuable things a man can give. The problem is, most men give it away too easily. They meet a woman they like and immediately start flooding her with compliments, texts, favors, and endless time. They believe the more attention they give, the more she'll like them. But in reality, when attention is too easily available, it loses all its value. Women are not attracted to men who hand out their attention like it means nothing. They're drawn to men who make them work for it. When attention has to be earned, it becomes valuable. It creates curiosity, intrigue, and desire. She starts to wonder what she needs to do to get more of his time and focus. A man who makes a woman earn his attention doesn't do it to play games or manipulate. He does it because he values his time, his energy, and his peace. He knows that not every woman deserves unlimited access to him. He understands that attention is a privilege, not a given. Number 6, he maintains mystery. Most men don't realize how powerful the mystery is in building attraction. They think the more they share, the more they reveal, the more a woman will feel connected to them. In reality, the complete opposite often happens. When everything is laid out too soon, there's nothing left for her to be curious about. And without curiosity, interest fades. Here's the continuation of your script with added details. Number 7, he puts his mission first. Far too many men have forgotten who they're supposed to be. They make the woman the center of their world. Every decision, every move, every ounce of their energy revolves around keeping her happy. They sacrifice their ambitions, their goals, even their identity, all in the name of love. And then they wonder why she loses respect, loses interest, and eventually leaves. Here's the harsh truth: women are not attracted to men who make them their entire purpose. That kind of dependency creates pressure. It signals weakness. When a woman becomes a man's mission, she starts to feel like his mother, not his partner. That's not the role she wants to play. She wants a man who is already driven, already building something, already pursuing a life that excites him, with or without her. A man who puts his mission first isn't being selfish. He's being a man. His career, his purpose, his personal growth. These are the things that give him strength and identity. When a man is deeply committed to his mission, it shows discipline, ambition, and confidence. It tells the world that he has a direction, that his life has meaning beyond chasing relationships. Women are naturally drawn to men who are busy building. They respect a man who has priorities, who doesn't drop everything just to be available at all times. In fact, the busier you are pursuing your mission, the more valuable your time becomes in her eyes. She respects you because you respect yourself and your goals. Now, let's be real for a second. Many men today need to wake up. You've been sold a fantasy that says the way to a woman's heart is through constant availability, endless attention, and sacrificing everything for her. But what has that done for you? Has it made her love you more? Or has it left you frustrated, confused, and feeling like you've lost yourself? It's time to stop living for approval. Your life has to be bigger than any one person. When your mission is your priority, everything else falls into place. The right woman won't leave because you're busy building. She'll admire your focus, your drive, and your discipline. She'll respect you because you're not easily distracted and because you value yourself enough to never lose sight of your purpose. The men women never forget are the ones who stood firm in their mission, the ones who didn't make love their identity, but instead invited love to be a part of the life they were already creating. That kind of man is rare, and that's exactly why he's unforgettable. Asterisk number 8, he embraces leadership, not submission. Asterisk a man who leads doesn't just follow the crowd or bend to every demand that life or his partner puts on him. He takes ownership of his decisions and stands by them. When life gets difficult or uncertain, he doesn't shy away. Instead, he takes responsibility and moves forward with clarity and strength. A woman wants a partner who can lead her through challenges, not someone who cowers when faced with adversity. Asterisk leadership doesn't mean being domineering, controlling, or dismissive of her opinions. True leadership is about balance, knowing when to listen, when to act, and when to guide with wisdom. When a man leads with confidence, decisiveness, and consideration, he becomes someone a woman can trust to navigate through life's uncertainties. Asterisk when a man stands tall as a leader, women see him as someone they can rely on. He's the type of man who doesn't second-guess himself, but remains steady even when the waters are rough. Women can't forget men who showed leadership in times of hardship because they know that these men don't falter under pressure. They become stronger. Asterisk number 9, he has boundaries and sticks to them. Asterisk one of the most important traits that women admire in men is the ability to set and stick to boundaries. A man who has strong boundaries knows what is acceptable in his life and what isn't. He doesn't let others, including a woman, dictate how he should live, what he should think, or how he should behave. Asterisk boundaries demonstrate respect for oneself and for others. When a man respects himself enough to establish healthy boundaries, it communicates strength and self-respect. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't let others overstep because it shows that they're not afraid to protect their peace and their values. Asterisk a man who constantly compromises his values and boundaries for the sake of others, especially in a relationship, becomes weak and lacks respect in the eyes of the woman. She may take advantage of that weakness, and the relationship may feel like a constant power struggle. Asterisk, however, when a man sticks to his boundaries, whether in a relationship or in life in general, it creates a healthy dynamic where both partners can thrive. A woman may challenge those boundaries at times, but she respects him more for maintaining them. When you stand firm and uphold your values, it shows that you are a man of principle, which makes you unforgettable. Asterisk number 10, he continues growing and evolving. Asterisk a man who never stops growing, learning, and evolving is one who remains desirable, not just in the moment, but throughout his entire life. Women respect and admire men who are committed to bettering themselves. They see them as exciting, dynamic, and full of potential. Asterisk this doesn't mean trying to be perfect or constantly changing to please others. It means being open to growth and self-improvement, regardless of age or circumstance. It means striving for excellence in different areas of life, whether it's fitness, career, knowledge, or emotional intelligence. Asterisk a man who grows intellectually, emotionally, and physically remains a challenge for a woman, and that is inherently attractive. A woman will never forget a man who didn't stagnate or rest on his laurels, but who continued to push the envelope of who he could become. Asterisk number 11, he has a sense of humor and doesn't take himself too seriously. Asterisk humor is a powerful tool in relationships. A man who can make a woman laugh, especially when things get tough, creates a bond that is hard to break. Women are drawn to men who don't take themselves too seriously and who can lighten the mood when life gets heavy. Asterisk humor is more than just cracking jokes. It's about knowing how to navigate difficult situations with a sense of levity and joy. A man who can make a woman laugh also demonstrates emotional intelligence, as he knows how to uplift her in moments of stress or frustration. Asterisk when a man brings humor and lightness into the relationship, it creates a positive, joyful atmosphere. Women won't forget the man who could make them smile, laugh, and feel good about themselves even in challenging times. Number 12, he knows his worth and doesn't settle. Asterisk a man who knows his worth and values himself is never desperate for validation, affection, or approval. He has a deep understanding of his own strengths, qualities, and goals, and he refuses to settle for anything less than what aligns with his values. He doesn't accept mediocre relationships, friendships, or situations. He recognizes his worth, and anyone who comes into his life must meet the standards he has set. Asterisk women are naturally attracted to men who are confident in their own skin and who don't feel the need to chase after approval from anyone. They remember men who understood their value and refused to settle for less than they deserved. These men are rare and unforgettable because they have a clear sense of self-worth that can't be shaken. Asterisk at the end of the day, most men lose not because they weren't good enough, but because they tried too hard to be everything a woman wanted. In doing so, they forgot to be what she actually desires, a man who doesn't need her. The moment a woman feels you need her more than she needs you, you've already lost her respect. Asterisk neediness destroys attraction. The men women never forget are the ones who stood on their own 2 feet, who didn't chase, who walked away when necessary, who controlled themselves, stayed mysterious, and above all, stayed committed to their mission. Asterisk if you found yourself in any of these situations, you're not alone. Many men have made these mistakes. I've made some myself. But awareness is the first step to change. I want to hear from you. Drop your experiences in the comments. Tell me where you've struggled, what situations you've faced, or even what's worked for you. I personally read every comment and respond to as many as I can. Asterisk, let's make this a real conversation where we can grow together as men. If you found value in this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with another man who needs to hear the truth. I'll see you in the next one.